Hello and welcome to Crystal Magic. And this is something that I feel very excited about and very blessed that we have this knowledge and connection with crystals and what they can do for us. And I've certainly had some amazing experiences with crystals and healing me and healing other people and been very special personal journeys. But never mind all that. Who is Andrea? I met Andrea fairly recently at an amazing, wonderful World of Wellbeing Festival, which is in the south of England, and it was full of the most extraordinary people. And I met Andrea there, and we all had, like myself, teaching about the pain-free method. I saw Andrea with all her beautiful crystals laid out. I thought, that looks interesting. And got chatting, and you had, I think it was a cards or a thing about color and things. I thought I love all about color. Well, I asked you about a color reading, and I ended up getting a color reading from you, which was extraordinary. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But I loved your energy, Andrea. You know, you're really knowledgeable about the crystals. I was saying, what's this and what's that one and what does that do? And you were just so knowledgeable and peaceful, and you had this sort of calm river of energy about you. And I just thought you're lovely, and I thought, gotta have you on.
Very much.
So welcome, Andrea, and thank you so much for giving us this talk. And Andrea's going to be starting with a meditation to get us in the right mindset. And over to you, Andrea.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for having me. Really looking forward to this. Very excited. So my name's Andrea. I'm a subtle energy medicine specialist, and I work with crystals, colour, Bach flowers, and energy, among other things. I dabble with tarot, but I wouldn't say that I'm anything like a tarot reader, but I dabble with it. But I've been healing for around 20 years, and I've been teaching for around 15 years. So before we start, I would like to do a short opening meditation so that we're all in the same space. So if you could get yourselves nice and comfortable and have your feet on the floor and just have your hands in a comfortable position. And then close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in. And as you release that breath, let all the cares of the day disappear. And take another nice deep breath, breathing in peace and breathing out any tension. And one more deep breath, breathing in peace. And as you breathe out, feel yourself sinking into the chair that you're sitting on. I'd like you to imagine roots growing from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet, and they are going down through the floor and into the earth. See these roots going deeper and deeper into the earth. As they do so, they come across other roots, tree roots, and crystals, big crystals. When you feel ready to do so, wrap your roots around a large tree root or a large crystal, knowing that in doing so you are grounded and stable. Now see yourself in an egg of light. See that the bottom of the egg is beneath your feet going into the earth. This egg is full of light, full of golden white light, keeping you safe and protected. High above your head, be aware of a bright golden white light and see that light streaming down through your crown at the top of your head, and feel your body filling up with light down to the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes. Allow that light to fill your roots. Sorry, allow your roots to fill with light, and then you become a waterfall of light. If you know your guides, please greet them now, and we greet the higher guidance of this group and acknowledge the angelic. We ask for protection, guidance, and inspiration, and that we receive only the purest of energies, and that we receive only what we need for our highest good. Now please go to that center of your being, deep inside you, and reflect just for a moment on what you hope to get out of the talk today. And with a thank you to the light, please touch on your roots and come back into the room. You may wish to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes to help you get back into your body again. Everybody back. Thank you very much. So this is how we're going to do it this evening. I'm going to talk about an aspect of crystals and then give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have on that particular aspect. And then we'll go on to the next aspect. At the end, we'll have a chance for any other questions that you might have on crystals or anything else. Some parts are going to be interactive, so get ready with your crystals. So the topics we're going to look at is how crystal healing works, how to choose crystals, sensing the energy of a crystal, cleansing, dedicating and tuning crystals, grounding and protection, and then we'll finish with a self-healing meditation. So let's get into it. How crystal healing works. So the most important thing to understand about crystal healing is that it works on the cause of an issue. As soon as it lands on the physical body, it becomes a symptom. Doesn't matter if it's a dodgy knee, a bad back, sinus issues, repeating headaches, all of these things have a cause. However, we don't actually need to know what the cause is. It could be one of several things. For example, it could be due to stress, perhaps something that happened to you in childhood, maybe the result of repeated negative patterns, particular attitudes which are unhelpful, or even the result of something that has occurred in a past life which we have brought forward in order to help us heal from whatever trauma that may have occurred. So as I say, all our disease and health issues invariably start with either our beliefs, which are held in the spiritual body, our thoughts, which are held in the mental body, or our emotions, which are held in our emotional body, sometimes called the astral body. So as an example, it could be that somebody comes across as super confident, but when it actually comes down to it, they lack self-confidence, self-esteem. This would start in the mental or spiritual body, but transfers itself into the physical body as perhaps weight gain, which is often a form of protection. Even if you trip over and hurt yourself, it likely means that you're not grounded. Too much in the head. You know, we're so attached to our phones these days. So we're all always up here, but we need to actually get back into our body. There's actually another very good reason as to why crystal healers work as they do. Legally, as we're not medically trained, we are not allowed to diagnose physical symptoms or work directly with the physical body. So with crystals working on the cause of an issue, how do they actually work? This is what we really want to know. So the medium we use is energy healing, sometimes referred to as spiritual healing. We don't use Reiki. It's too limiting, being more of an earth-based system. And by using energy healing, There are no limits to what we can do. And the stronger we become, the more potential we have to access. So if you're not aware of what energy healing actually is, we don't do the actual healing. We're merely a channel for the healing energies to flow through us. We open ourselves to source light, ask for the light to flow through us, and we use our hands to direct where we want that energy to go. We're not responsible for how soft or how powerful that healing energy is, but provided we ask that the healing energy be for the client's highest good, then the client receives exactly the healing energies that are most beneficial to them. When we give a healing, the client's energy field expands. So the energy field is also known as the aura or the auric field, and it has several layers to it. But to keep it simple, there's obviously the physical body, the one that we know really well, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. Within our auric field, we also find the chakra system. And most people understand the main 7 chakras that we have located along the spine, starting at the base chakra at the base of our spine, going all the way up to our crown chakra at the top of our head. And in between, we've got the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, and the third eye. The chakras contain our life lessons and how we deal with life. And sometimes those chakras can be blocked, sometimes they are overactive, among other things. There are other things that they can present as, but that gives you an idea. We also use another system within the auric field known as grid lines. And this is a system as to how we move through life, whether we're stuck or whether we move through freely and easily. So healing energies are channeled through the healer and will go to where they are needed most. But when we add crystals into the mix, this is healing with bells on. All crystals have their own properties, and we think of them in terms of strengthening, calming, clearing, softening, grounding, protecting. It's that kind of language. And what crystals do in the healing session is shape and focus the energies to the point of greatest need, so we can be more precise in our healing. By learning to read somebody's energy field, I can ascertain how the healing needs to be focused. And this is where the crystals come in. So if somebody's energy field is showing signs of stress, for example, I would use calming and softening crystals. If somebody's energy field appeared to be a little bit grubby, I would use clearing crystals. So the mineral kingdom is our oldest kingdom, and these beautiful crystals, having taken years to form, they have an order about them and they are able to transmute and transform energies, which is fabulous. So crystals take many forms, some looking like you would expect a crystal to look. So something like this, you'll see that, that's a clear quartz. Or they can be what we term as massive, and they can be something,
Andrea, can you bring it right up to the camera, please? Just a bit further back, a bit further back.
Further back.
Yeah, just so the lights, can you get the light to go on it? Can you all see that okay? Cool, thank you.
So this is mookaite. Or you've got something really odd and weird. Can you see that? Can you all see that? That is called a desert rose. So it's part of the selenite family, that one. So does anybody have any questions at this point? If you want to type anything into the chat.
How do you know which one to use if you're going to buy one or pick one or use one? Or
We're going to come on to that. It's a good question. It's a very good question. In fact, has anybody got any questions? Okay. So how do you choose crystals? So you were asked to bring your crystals to the talk. Just reflect for a moment on why you were drawn to your crystals. How did you choose your crystals? Or did you feel that they chose you?
Wine chose me.
Yeah, in actual fact, one just fell off of a shelf onto my purse when I was holding it the other day. So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. They know what we need, and we also intrinsically know what we need as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few things to think about when choosing crystals. Quite often we choose by sight. We like the look of it. We might be looking for a particular crystal. But if you're presented with a bowl full of crystals that all look the same, how do you choose? You might find one stands out from all the others. It might be a little bit shinier. It might have special markings that the others don't have. It may be its particular shape that you find attractive. And that is probably the most common way of choosing a crystal, by sight. Hot on its heels is touch. Some of us like to hold crystals to see whether it feels right in our hand. They may feel, you might feel heat, coolness, whatever is a person's individual language for choosing a crystal. They might actually communicate with the crystal, and that crystal says, yes, this is the one that you need. So just from those two, we can see that our senses play a big part in choosing the crystals. The other senses not yet mentioned also play a part. Some people hear a sound in their head when finding the right one. More rarely, some experience a particular aroma, others a particular taste in their mouths. So how do you choose? If you pop how you feel that you choose crystals into the chat, and then we can see whether you'll choose in the same way or whether there's a variety. Just go ahead and pop something into the chat. Okay, so Althea is saying the feel of it. It looks interesting. So that was both of the first two sort of ways that I mentioned. Does anybody else want to add anything? Karen, sight and touch. Anybody experience anything different? Amanda, sight and touch. Althea, I could feel what it was doing to me. Yes. Yeah. So I went warehouse shopping with a friend of mine some years ago. She wanted crystals to sell at a show and was having a good look around, trying to decide what she wanted. And we'd been there for about half an hour, and there were two things in the trolley. There was a free-form piece of labradorite and a lovely smoky quartz with a rainbow in it. Both of them were mine. It was a case of completely knowing that these two crystals had to come home with me. And more recently at a Rock and Gem show, I was talking to one of the sellers about the diploma course that I run. And I happened to glance to the left, and this beauty, I don't know whether you can see that, that caught my eye, and I could not take my eyes off of it. And it was, wow, 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 how much is it? Yeah, I don't care, it's coming home with me. It's hematite quartz, so you've got the sort of pinky red colours at the top, which is the hematite, but it's beautiful shape, and it just looks like it's been kissed with pink dusting. So I love that. Very pleased that I saw that. I had no intention of buying it, but as we all, I think, understand, when they grab you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So now let's sense the energy of your crystal, your rose quartz. So if you can take that crystal, hold it in the hand that you don't write with, and have a really, really good look at it in such a way that if you had to put it back into a bowl of crystals full of rose quartz crystals, you would actually find it again. And now if you could please close your eyes. How does it feel in your hand? What sensations do you have? Does it touch you anywhere in particular in your physical body, your energy body? This is a really subtle language. It's indirect, understated, elusive sometimes. Do you like what you're experiencing? You may now open your eyes if you have your eyes closed. Just pop in the chat, what did you feel? One word, for example, is nurturing. Gentle, covering, calm. Fabulous. And Amanda has put something in the chat. Grief. Can I recommend Star of Bethlehem Bach Flower Remedy? It really works, it's fantastic. And fool's gold pyrite, that's a grounding crystal. So keep it in your pocket. That is absolutely fine. So I hope that's helpful. So when I do these types of talks in person, I usually get people to swap their crystal with their neighbour and then tune into that crystal and see how it feels in comparison. And invariably, people want to give that crystal back to the other person and reclaim their own crystal. Although on a few occasions, a couple might choose to keep each other's crystal. Any questions so far? Rose quartz, they are beautiful, beautiful. So one reason why people prefer their own crystal is that they are likely to be picking, in that scenario I just spoke about, they're likely to be picking up on their neighbour's stuff. So let's think about cleansing crystals. There are several methods of cleansing crystals, but probably the most important thing, regardless of the method of cleansing, is the intention that they can be cleansed of all negativity. Water is perhaps the most obvious method, but there are some crystals that should never be cleansed in water. Anything containing metal, so turquoise, malachite, chrysocolla, for example, should not be cleansed in water. They can give off a chemical reaction, which is not really ideal. Also, selenite should never be exposed to water because it will dissolve and you'll have no crystal left. Crystals in the quartz family, so obviously this one that I showed you earlier on, the mookaite is part of the quartz greater family, and obviously your rose quartz. They are all part of the quartz family. You can put those in water and under running water with no problem. Sunlight can be used, but be aware that the colour of some crystals can fade, such as amethyst and fluorite. You need to be careful of clear quartz spheres, particularly because they can act like a mirror and could cause fires. Clear quartz can also crack. Also, opals, having a high water content, can also dry out and crack. As I know too well, I had my belly button pierced many, many years ago, and I had an opal as a crystal. And then I went on holiday to Portugal for 2 weeks, and I just sort of laid out in the sun for 2 weeks and wondered why I had a crack running down the middle of my beautiful opal. I knew nothing about crystals at that point, which I had done. I wouldn't have done that. But moonlight is fine. Although with both the sun and the moon, it's not necessary to leave them out all day or all night. Just an hour or two with the intention behind it is sufficient. Other methods include holding your crystal in the smoke of incense. Colour can be very cleansing, particularly turquoise. My personal favourite is using sounds such as tinctures, you know, the dings that ding together, or a Tibetan bowl. And that's mainly because I have so many, and it's a quick, fast, easy way of cleaning a lot of crystals all at the same time. Another method is our own breath. Every breath we take is sacred. And so we can blow sort of our breath onto a crystal. So literally just blow with the intention that you are cleansing your crystal. And the last method I will share with you is channeled light. So you allow that light that we experienced in the opening meditation, you allow that light to flow down through you, through your hands and into the crystal. This is one of the fastest ways of cleaning crystals when you're healing. But to reiterate, the most important thing is your intention when carrying out the clearing and the cleansing of crystals, and the intention that they should be clear of all negative energy. So after cleansing your crystals, we dedicate them. You may not have heard of this before, but it's really important because when we clean our crystals, we are leaving empty space. And by dedicating them, we fill those spaces, those empty spaces, with positive energy. So, for example, you could simply say with intention, I dedicate you for good. That's all you need to do. And there's one more step that we take before using our crystals. I'm sure many of you have heard of programming crystals. But how many people have heard of tuning crystals? Is there a difference? Essentially, it's the same thing, but think about the word programming. It's quite hard. It's telling your crystal what to do, ordering it almost. Doesn't feel very nice. Now think about tuning an old-fashioned radio, tweaking those dials to get the right station. And if you're a little bit off, there was static. So you had to be careful and soft so that the station would be clear and bright. So tuning crystals sounds much nicer and softer. And you're making a request. Please, will you work with me to help me with healing? Or please, will you work with me to help me with my meditations? For example, it's a much gentler way of working with crystals. So does anybody have any questions on that at the moment? Everybody's okay. Seem to be drawn to tiger's eye crystal. That has grounding properties and it's also protective. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. So let's try this with your rose quartz. So do the cleansing first. Perhaps use the cleansing breath or channel the light from above to flow into your hands and then into your crystal. Then dedicate your crystal for good, and then tune it to something you would like help with, whatever that may be. So I'll just give you a minute or so to do that. So when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back into the room. So crystals can be used in our everyday life. Meditation is an obvious one, but you could use a clear quartz for focus when studying or taking exams, for example. A rose quartz can be used as an agony aunt. So you talk to your rose quartz rather than burdening your friends, if you happen to do that quite a bit. Plants and crystals love each other, and crystals can help plants grow better, but be aware that they can also help the weeds grow better as well. Sometimes little bits of crystal may come away from its matrix, and I tend to add these small pieces to my house plants to help the plant grow strong. Black tourmaline. Now, black tourmaline, whether you can see that, it's got these striated edges. It's long been recognised as a fantastic absorber of negative effects of EMF from computers and other electrical items. However, more recently, shungite, so this is shungite, sort of polished piece. It's been known to do the same thing, but additionally it absorbs the negative effects of 5G in particular. I keep a pyramid of shungite on top of my router, and I have other pieces of shungite and black tourmaline around my computer and television equipment. You may wish to place a piece on top of your electrical box where the electricity actually comes into your property as well. People often request, I sell crystals quite a bit at shows, and people often request black tourmaline for protection. Black tourmaline is actually a grounding crystal. It's quite a heavy duty and dense one at that. So I would not recommend using black tourmaline for protection. For protection, you want higher vibrational crystals that are clear and bright and light, such as amethyst, lapis lazuli, and labradorite. Just as an aside, you can also tune amethyst to help you remember your dreams and to keep you safe while you're asleep. A grounding crystal in your car will help keep your mind on the job, namely driving and manoeuvring your car. How many of us are driving along a piece of road and you suddenly think, oh, how did I get here? I last remember being back there, and it's because we've gone off in daydreamland. And so it is really important to actually keep our eye on the ball in that. So I've mentioned grounding and protection a few times. Both these things are really important. Grounding keeps our feet on the ground and gets us out of our mind and out of our tech. We're here to have a physical experience, so grounding is actually really good for us. As I mentioned, we're going to do a self-healing meditation shortly, and we'll revisit the method of grounding that we used at the start. But outside of meditation, cooking is great. We have to keep our mind on the jobs, otherwise we run the risk of getting burnt or cutting ourselves. Gardening is great, helping us keep in touch with nature. Being out in nature, particularly wooded areas, are very grounding. But even beaches, as you're walking over cobbles and sand, both of which are grounding. Exercise is grounding. So before we do this self-healing meditation, we're going to do an exercise similar to the first one we did, but this time using your grounding crystal. So I've got a couple of other examples I have here. This is petrified wood. And we've got copper as well, so we can use copper as a grounder. If you're unsure as to whether you have a grounding crystal, if you just pop the name of it into the chat and I can let you know what it is, but otherwise I assume that everybody's is okay. That tiger's eye, that is fine. So as I said, grounding crystals such as red jasper, hematite, iron pyrite, which is also known as false gold, black obsidian, garnet, whatever your grounding crystal is, have that. And we will also use our rose quartz as well. So let's just double check research. Yeah, shungite is fine. Shungite is grounding as well. So when you're ready, just have your grounding crystal and rose quartz within easy reach. So just become aware of yourself. Become aware of how you feel. And when you really know how you feel, pick up your rose quartz again. And then notice how you feel holding that rose quartz. Now put that down and pick up your grounding crystal. And just put some light through it, clean it, dedicate it. And then notice how that feels. How is it different to your rose quartz? Where in your energy field do you feel it? With a thank you to the light, come back into the room. Did you notice a difference? Would you like to share your experience?
Sure. So my rose quartz just feels very gentle. It feels like it's covering me with just gentleness.
Yeah.
Gentle and sort of almost childlike. And then I've got this. I love amethyst, and I got this lovely big chunk of it, and I feel like it's cleansing and protecting mostly,
Yeah.
clearing, and. But I used it as my grounding one. I don't know, but it felt right. And then all the energy went to my head.
Yeah, it would do. It's not a grounding crystal.
Oh.
It's okay. But what you experienced from it is exactly right.
Oh. Well, it just all went like that. I could just feel it, and
Yeah.
always busy in my head and on computer and all that.
Yeah. Amethyst is protective, but it opens up your third eye, it opens up your crown.
Wow.
Links you to spirit. So the complete opposite of a grounding crystal.
Oh.
Okay. Anybody else have any other experiences with grounding crystals?
May I speak? First
Of course.
of all, apologies for being late and missing it. I suddenly realised I was supposed to be in a meeting, so I needed grounding desperately. So I've picked up this one, and it's the one you mentioned earlier, which is the one that I picked up. I haven't picked up this one for ages. It's black tourmaline. And strangely, when you said to get a grounding crystal, I thought, oh, because I've got quite a lot, and I grabbed this, and I haven't touched this for a long time. Anyway, like Alfia, I felt exactly the same. A gentle, good friend, this one, the rose quartz, beautiful feeling. I don't remember having this feeling. I don't know if it's the quartz, you know, what you've been saying and your energy mixed together. I don't know, you know, the energy of everyone. But this particular one, absolutely felt it tickling around my legs, around my feet, and around my hips and my lower back. So that was quite interesting. And I did feel a denseness down the center of my body. So yeah, I suppose it was centering me, I suppose, down here. So thank you for that.
Fabulous. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share?
Yes, I'd like to share. This is what I used for my grounding crystal, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
It looks, from what I can see, a mesoite. It's slightly grounding,
Okay.
not terribly grounding. What did you experience?
I felt like it was going all down through here, down through my digestive system, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. And I felt, yeah, like everybody else with my rose quartz, I felt really calm and different. So,
Yeah.
but this is the one that fell off the shelf onto me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So I wanted to be with you anyway.
I love this one. Yeah, it's by my bed.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Anybody else, or shall we carry on? Okay. So protection or having a strong energy field is also really important. Early in my spiritual experience, in some quarters, protection was thought of as a dirty word almost. The idea that if there was a connection to spirit, why would protection be necessary? And this was a total misunderstanding regarding what protection actually is. By and large, it concerns thought forms that are around us. We know what it's, every single one of us knows what it's like to walk into a room where crosswords have been exchanged. And conversely, what it's like to walk into a room where there is joy and happiness is the order of the day. And just from those two examples, we know that thought forms can and do affect us. So let's ask a different question. Would you be happy having a weak energy field? I'm sure nobody wants a weak energy field. If you're protected, you will have a strong energy field. So again, we will revisit how to ensure you have a strong energy field in our meditation shortly. But otherwise, a healthy diet, good exercise, walking are all things that we can do to keep our energy field strong. Grounding and protection are intrinsically linked. So if you're grounded, you're protected. If you're protected, you're grounded. But if you're not grounded, then you won't be protected either. So it's vital to practice these things. Are there any questions, any other questions on what we've gone through so far before we do the self-healing meditation? Is everybody okay? So yes, Rose, I mentioned earlier on about charging crystals through the sun and the moon, and that is fine to do so, particularly the moon, because there are no other effects caused by the moon, but you only need to do it for an hour or two. You don't need to do it for very long, but you just have to be careful of the crystals in sunlight. So if you could have your rose quartz within easy reach, you may wish to place your grounding crystal by your feet. If you happen to have two grounding crystals the same, you can place one under each foot. And so please get nice and comfortable with your feet on the floor. Close your eyes and start to breathe a little more deeply. Breathing in peace and letting go of anything you no longer need on the exhale. The more deeply you breathe, the more you will sink into your seat. Now imagine roots from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet growing down through the floor into the earth and then going down as deeply as you can. When you come across other roots or crystals, Wrap your roots around these to keep you grounded, strong and secure. And now see yourself in an egg of light, with the bottom part of the egg going into the earth. See your egg filled with golden white light, keeping you safe, and know that you are protected. Become aware of a light above your head, which is flowing down through your crown into your body and filling your body with light from the tips of your fingers down to the tips of your toes, and filling your roots with light, and see it expanding so you become a waterfall of light. And we now greet our guides and acknowledge the angelic, and send a thought to the guidance that is overseeing this group. We ask for protection for our highest good, and ask that only pure energy enters and leaves our space. So if you could now pick up your rose quartz and go to the center of your being and ask for a healing light that is right for you at this moment in time. And just allow that light to flow down within you, through you, around you, and into that rose quartz that you are holding into your hand. Become aware of what is going on around you. Notice your emotions, how you are feeling. And just rest a while to bathe in the light. And giving thanks to the angelic and the light, we offer the energies to the mineral kingdom. We thank the beings of light who have overseen this group, and we thank each member of this group for being here today. I'd like you to slow your energy centers down and just follow my voice, and it will happen automatically. Just let go at the top of your head. Move the energy down to the third eye, slowing the energies. Moving down to the throat, slowing the energies. Moving down to the heart, very gently, slow the energies. Moving down to the solar plexus, slowing the energies. Moving down to the sacral, slowing the energies. Move the energy down to the base and slow the energies. And now really put your roots down deep into the earth. And imagine that you have a cloak with a hood around you in a dark blue colour. And start breathing a little more deeply. And then focusing on the in-breath, come back into the room. And if you feel like it, have a little stretch and open your eyes. So, did you enjoy that? Does anybody have any feedback that they would like to share, or any other questions? And yes, bare feet in the garden will definitely keep you grounded. So any other? Oh, lovely, thank you.
Shall I share?
Yes, by all means.
That was lovely. That was lovely, Andrea, and all different levels of. I could feel like the protection, like just sort of zones going through me, and just imagining different things and going different places, and it was restoring, and I felt the protection. It was great.
Fabulous.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Andrea, Amanda wants to say something.
Yeah, hi. Andrea, can I place tiger's eye in the hallway to give the house protection for Sunday?
Do you have any smoky quartz?
I think I do. Yeah.
Smoky quartz might be better than tiger's eye, but if you've only got tiger's eye, then tune it for protection for the house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just various people, as I said in my message earlier on, are a little bit sort of, they're waiting to trip me up, you know?
Yeah.
They can't accept that I'm still grieving, and they can't accept that I'm not very mobile, and they're just trying to dig at me the whole time. And I just feel absolutely, utterly exhausted.
It's hard when people don't actually understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I've been there. I know what it's like.
And I'd just like to say, Althea, this has just been the most amazing evening.
Thank you.
Because I respond to holy dozing when I do mindfulness, and obviously I'm still focusing on my breathing because I'm a mouth breather.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. But if you can get Star of Bethlehem Bach flower remedy, that will help as well.
I will.
Really will. It will really shift you.
Mm.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
Me again, sorry.
That's all right.
Alfie hasn't heard from me for ages, and now she can't. There's too much of my voice. But anyway, thank you so much, Alfia. The timing of sending me this email and everything for me to be here. I am so glad I'm here. It just feels so in rhythm with my life. And I've been thinking about crystals. The crystals have been calling me, but I haven't done anything about it. And I was very low energy. Then I saw the email just today about crystal healing. I must attend. This looks fantastic. And that meditation is just what the doctor ordered. Definitely correct, right, for my life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This has been amazing.
Thank you. So, before we finish my bit anyway, I'd like to share a couple of things with you. So I'm also a qualified colour therapist. I did colour therapy before I moved into the crystal world. And I know that Althea mentioned earlier on that I do colour readings. And I use what we call a spine chart. So that is what it looks like. This is one that is actually in motion, so to speak. So it has actually nothing to do with the actual spine, but as the spine connects us to the nervous system, we can find out information through dowsing along the spine. This chart is, the spine is sort of broken up, and the chart is broken up into 5 areas. So we have the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the metabolic, and the physical. And it shows you where you are in life at the moment and which things you might want to concentrate on. So as Althea mentioned, she had a colour reading with me, and Althea, would you mind just sharing your experience of that, please?
Sure. Well, well, it was extraordinary. I mean, it's really in depth, and you really go into every sort of nitty gritty of different areas of my spiritual, emotional, physical, in all different areas of my life, and it was really really in depth and in detail, and it was great, you know, and you asked lots of questions at the beginning as well, so you know. Asking about the situation I was presently in, or my not situation, but you know where I'm at in my life, sort of thing. But it was great, yeah. And I'm also a colour therapist. I've never done that sort of thing, or never had that sort of thing done on me before. I worked in different ways, but yeah, I think that's it. And the chart was brilliant because it was very revealing about what was connected to what and what influenced what in my life, and how I was playing a part in all that. So it was really in depth, very detailed, and thank you so much.
Thank you. So I would like to offer you a discount if you would like to experience a colour reading or a crystal healing session. Both of them can be done on Zoom and distantly with me. If you fancy coming to Salisbury, you're welcome to come to Salisbury. The usual price of the reading or healing is £70 for the session, and it lasts at least an hour. I would like to offer you a session with the special code of July Crystal Colour 23 for £60 a session. And if you would like to book that, you've got until the end of August. So that's what, 5 weeks or so for you to think about it. But if you would like to take advantage of that small discount, as long as you book it by the end of August, you don't have to have the session by the end of August, but as long as it's booked by then, just send me an email mentioning the code and we can sort out a mutually convenient date and time. And the second thing I would like to tell you about is my 2-year diploma course in crystal and energy healing, which is accredited by the Federation of Subtle Energy Medicine. There are 7 weekends in each year, and by the end of it, provided you've done all the work to an acceptable standard, you will receive a fully recognised qualification, which will allow you to practice crystal and energy healing to a very high standard. There is significant development work included in the course, and it's life-changing. You will come away with a good grounding in crystal knowledge, an understanding of how to read somebody's energy field, which will help you determine what type of healing it will be, what it means to be a healer, and a much deeper understanding of who you really are, and what you are capable of. From personal experience, when I did the course, the person who started out, and I thought I knew quite a lot, so there was a lot of ego there, was definitely not the same person who finished the course. All the selves increased, so my self-confidence, my self-respect, my self-esteem, my self-worth, all of them became greater and greater as the course progressed. Truly life-changing. And what's more, my mum stated that I changed for the better, and there's nothing like your mum telling you how it is there? So my next course starts at the end of September. It is in person because you cannot learn how to read the energy field online. And the group energy with the other students is also really important for your development. And as I said, I'm based in Salisbury. Currently, I have somebody on my current course who's in Cardiff. And when she comes, she stays in an Airbnb for the weekend. So just to give you an idea of cost, it's just over £2,500 for the 2 years. It's £100 non-refundable deposit, which will secure your place. And then it's £170 for each of the weekends, which is much more manageable for most people. There'll be a small charge at the end of the second year for the assessment as an outside assessor comes in, and also for the certification. And again, if you're interested in pursuing this life-changing course, send me an email and I'll send you the prospectus. Does anybody have any questions? You all look a bit gobsmacked. So my website.
Catherine?
To be clear, it's 2,500, £100 deposit, and you pay it 170 per weekend, or you pay the 2,000 just to for 2,000 up first.
No. So £100 deposit to secure your place.
Yes.
If you want to pay the whole lot, then it's entirely up to you, but it's easier just to pay £170 each weekend.
Okay. And you said it was 7 weekends. 7 weekends.
It's 7 weekends in each year, so it's 14 weekends in total.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's okay. But if you're interested, send me an email and I can send you the prospectus, and then that will detail everything.
Yeah.
And my website, I suppose I should actually put these in the chat. So my website is www.academyofcrystalsandenergy.co.uk.
Andrea, I'm going to put you all the details you want to share. I'm going to be putting on the webpage.
Okay.
Have this recording on it.
Okay.
So everyone's going to have the details you want to share and how to get in contact with Andrea. You're going to get the recording of this. You're going to get the link to the diploma and how to get in contact with her and her website. And anything else you want to share.
I think that's it.
It's really great, and thank you for the discount. That's lovely. Nice little bonus for coming onto the call, and I do recommend it. It was, if you want to do something like that, it was lovely. It was very explorative. And,
thank you very much.
Enlightening.
No, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Wonderful. And Andrea, thank you so much for giving this talk. And I'm loving these talks. It's just I'm always learning something new. And gosh, I didn't know that. And it's been inspiring and enlightening. And trying to think of any other nice long word that fits the bill. Amazing. It's been delightful. Thank you so much. It's been a really great talk, and I hope everyone's enjoyed as much as I have, and got something out of this. Got some highlights and ahas, and inspired you to use some crystals and to look into color healing and perhaps even the diploma. And yeah, fantastic. So if there's any more questions for everybody before we close. And Rose says, love the Zoom. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rose. Thank you for coming, everybody. And so I'm going to leave the last word to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Althea. Thank you very, very much for organising a wonderful evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really great, really fun. Thank you.
Wonderful. So on that note, thank you so much, everybody. And dream of crystals and protect yourself from ground and everything, and enjoy. And I'll be in touch, Andrea. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.